To use the Vortex Mod Manager by Nexus Mods, don't click off this video because I have something you want. Have you ever been scrolling through Vortex and just looking at all the mod data that it stores on all of your mods and thought, oh, this is cool. All this is here and all, but sure would be nice if I could, read it or, get it outside of Vortex so I could, store it or manipulate it or view it or do whatever I wanted to do with it. Well, I have got just the app for you. For you see, I made the Vortex Modlist Converter app, and that app converts your entire Vortex mod list into a readable text file. It also can do an HTML file, and it can copy your profile data from your Vortex mod profile. With my app, there's no reason to use any of the other mods that can do any of these other things because my app can do every single one all of those mods can do, plus some extra things as well. So if you would like to use my app or download it, I will have links in the description for everything. Obviously, my app is also available on Nexus Mods, so if you want to download it through the official Nexus Mods website, you can do that as well. Obviously, you can also use my Gitlab to download it. Either one works. They both will give you this exact same app. But in today's video, I will just be showing y'all how to use my app, Vortex Modlist Converter. I won't be showing you how to install it or anything like that. There is an entire description on the mod page and on my GitLab repo. You can read through the instructions there if you need a quick set of instructions on how to install an app. Now that I think we've covered all the intro topics, without any further ado, let's get into it and show you what this app does and how to use it. All right, so here we have the home page of the application, and this is where you're going to be doing most of the work. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to locate your Vortex app data folder. If you installed Vortex with all the default paths and all the default locations, then the default path here should work for you. However, if you installed your Vortex with an app data folder in a different location, you will need to come in here and select the path to that folder. Once you have a valid Vortex app data folder, it'll show you a green check here. The next thing we need to do is to come down here and select a Vortex backup file. There are currently two Vortex backup files, hourly.json and startup.json. I recommend using startup.json as it is likely to be more complete than the other one. However, choose whichever one you want to use. After we have selected a Vortex backup file, we can come over here and select which game we want to view. So we're going to go ahead and click Skyrim SE. It'll tell you the number of mods that you have completely, like total number of mods that you have installed for Skyrim with Vortex right there. And then after you've selected a game, now you can come down here and select a profile. By default, it has all selected. So what this means is it will basically just print all of the mods that you have installed for Skyrim, no matter what profile they're enabled on. However, if you only want to export or convert the mods for a specific profile, you can come over here and just click that specific profile. So if we want just the mods that are enabled on AE 1.6.1130, we can just select that profile and it tells us there's 874 enabled mods on that profile. The next thing we need to take a look at down here are all of the switch values. So HTML list basically just adds an HTML document that prints all of the mod names hyperlinked to their mod page. So you can just click the mod name on the HTML document and it will link you directly to the mod page, assuming you have the correct mod URL saved in your Vortex. The profile data switch here basically copies all of the profiles data, or not just profiles data, literally anything that's inside your profiles data folder for Vortex. So like this specific profile, any data that's in this specific profiles folder, this switch will copy all of that data to your output folder. And lastly, over here we have FOMOD options, and basically what that does is if Vortex has any, like say you have a mod that uses a FOMOD to be installed with, Vortex can sometimes save some of those settings. So if Vortex has any of those settings saved for that mod, clicking FOMOD options will print those to the log output. And the last thing over here is the output folder. Obviously, this is the default path that it defaults to output to. You can set it to whatever you want. It really doesn't matter. All you need is a valid output folder. But once you have all these settings set to where you're happy, you can just go ahead and click the convert button here and it will convert things for you. And as you can see, it's already done. Over here in the output folder, we can see that yes, the app has output this folder right here. And if we go into it, we can see, yes, we have the HTML document, we have the text document, and we have the profiles data as well. In case you're wondering what the text output looks like, this is what it does. It'll basically give you the name of the mod, all this metadata that you could possibly want about the mod. And then down here we have the install choices. and it'll do this for every single mod. As well as this HTML document over here. As you can see, it has all the mod pages, all the mod names, and these are hyperlinked to the mod page, because if I click on it, boom, it loads right to the mod page. Super convenient for, giving your mod list to friends or anything like that. That's pretty much everything that you need to know how to use the app, but one last thing we should go over is let's go over here to the settings page and let's go over some of these settings so that you understand them and what they do. So the first switch up here, if this is enabled, it obviously, whenever you click the done button on the little pop-up that tells you that it's done converting your files, when you click the OK button, it will open up the folder automatically for you in File Explorer. So if you don't want that, then just go ahead and turn this off. If you have use profile to name output folder enabled, then basically by default, all of the output folders are date and time stamped so that none of them overwrite each other. If you want to keep each profile in its own specific folder, you can just enable this switch right here. Don't worry, the files won't overwrite each other. The files are still date and time stamped, but the folder is not. So it'll basically organize all of your conversions of that specific profile all into one folder. Kind of convenient for that purpose. The last two settings we have down here are the auto update checks. So if you would like this app to check for updates when you launch the app, basically every time you start it, then you can enable it here. So there are two APIs you can use to check for updates. There's the Gitlab API and the Nexus API. Gitlab API is unlimited and requires nothing other than you clicking this for it to check for updates on start. If you want to use the Nexus API, you will be required to input an API key for that to work. However, after you've input your API key, all you have to do is come over here and turn the switch on, and it will use the Nexus API to check for updates instead of GitLab. And if you don't want it to check for updates at all, you can just turn both these off and the app will not check for updates. That's everything from me, guys. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them down in the comments down below. I'll try and get back to you. Obviously, links for this will be listed everywhere, so check it out. Until next time, catch you later.